I think that time it was I don't even know what it was. I think it
Like
was
an
money.
idol or something.
Yeah, I think actually the first like to get the shortcut through the mines, like I had to give him money, and now to get to the shortcuts of the like the ice caverns, I have to give him a shotgun, which that's going to be interesting.
Good luck.
Yeah, right. So I'm trying to get to the point where I can practice on the ice cavern levels and actually do like full runs of this game.
Right.
But man, this game is hard. It's I finally got to the point where I like know how to game the tiki traps.
Yeah.
The the big idols that are 2 squares high and they have spikes that shoot out the side.
Hmm.
Those I got killed by those so many times. It wasn't even funny.
I feel
I
like
would
that's
just
the best part of one of those types of games where
yeah
you eventually figure out how you can break the game,
yeah
just so you can not so you can continue, but so you can kind of almost exploit the entire game and be like, all right,
yeah.
now I can go through this entire area without even being touched.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about Splunky. I'm noticing is it's got a very fine line of it's you're terrible at it, and then as you're progressing through these different levels with different traps and stuff. There's this thin strip where it's like, okay, I understand all this, I get it, and then like right as soon as everything like that clicks,
Hmm.
you immediately go into, oh, I know how to exploit this.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
how to use this to my advantage. If I step on the frog at the right time, I don't have to use a rope to get to there because he'll jump, and I'll
yeah,
jump higher,
yeah.
and it's incredibly fun. I really need to get back to the ice caverns because those are entirely different from the rest of the game I've played so far. Like the jungle levels were just different in the way of like, oh, there's a couple new enemies and there's spike traps. The ice cavern levels are different in like the way they're laid out.
Hmm.
They're
And
laid out completely differently. There's completely new elements to consider, like this psychic energy thing happening. I don't know what
jeez,
that is.
do you slide on the ice too?
Of course you do.
Of
It's an
course.
ice level.
Yeah.
Why would
Now that
you
you know how to
ever?
control this game, now you slide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They couldn't just have you slog through snow. It's like, oh, you're a little slower. That makes more sense to me. But no, it's completely frozen.
Yeah.
So luckily, it's not all the places in the ice level. It's just most of them.
Yeah.
So there's some respite occasionally. But on top of Splunky, I've also been playing Skyrim still,
Ooh.
which, man, I can't get enough of that game. I really
It
just,
just
it's
pulls you back in.
That's not a
every
bad game to get
time.
sucked into.
Oh no, not at all. I'm loving playing it as a different character, simply because I now like 'cause I don't necessarily do it intentionally, but this time I'm playing a female character and I'm playing like a magic user, and I find myself like the only example I can think of right now is so when you first get to Whiterun and you see those Red Guard guys arguing with the town guards.
Hmm.
About trying to find someone they're looking for and they can't get into the town.
Oh yeah.
I like now I'm like, oh well, my character's female, so clearly she would and this is terrible of me, but I'm like, clearly she would side with the Red Guard woman that they're looking for and totally not rat on them. Like
Right.
that's clearly how this works, and I'm not sexist at all or anything.
Well, I mean,
You know.
I mean, you can sort of couch it in role playing. I mean, if that's
Yeah.
the best part about role playing is if that's the first thing that comes to your mind, it's like, well, okay, well, I guess that's how my character would act.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's generally how I play it. Most role playing games because that's. I mean, I played tabletop for the long time, so it was like, all right, well, I gotta think like my character, so this is what I would do.
Yeah.
And it's a ton of fun. I'm trying to use followers more in this run. So like I'm a conjurer, so I'm raising zombies, and I've got Lydia with me. And I've never used followers in these games because I always thought maybe they just get in the way,
Right.
or I'd be really upset if they died.
Or they'd be too dumb and they're like shooting up the town where you're just trying to buy something.
Yeah, and so far I haven't run into any issues, but I've always heard weird things about like, oh well, I couldn't get out of this area because my followers were all blocking the door and there's no way to really move them.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to playing more with those because I think it will make the game. It'll still be challenging, but it won't be detrimental. Like I won't be dying as much.
Yeah.
Because I tend to play Bethesda games solo, just completely.
Yeah.
I think the only game where I didn't go almost full solo was Fallout 3,
Well,
because
you
there were
gotta
some
have the
characters
dog.
that. Oh yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And there's just some characters in that game, like the super mutant, who would follow you around. It's just like he's too useful to not have.
He's just too powerful. So I
And my
actually,
character was not like a combat character. I was like, I can hack everything in this world.
so
I will die in 2 hits.
I actually ran into a problem in Skyrim myself with one of those things where a follower had to leave this cave or something that I was in and would get stuck on something right at the entrance and wouldn't allow us to leave. My tip to you is hit them with Fusroda, and it will
okay.
get them out of pretty much everything. It might throw them pretty high in the air, but I found they typically don't die. So,
Okay.
and that
Good
also
to
sort
know.
of dislodges them. So,
Nice. All right,
Nice.
that's good to know. I'll
Yeah.
keep that on hand. I actually, before we started the show, I was playing a little bit of Skyrim, and I forgot that I hadn't rebound my keys back to what they were originally.
Oh.
So I usually have mouse 3 set up as my like draw weapon, put away weapon. But apparently I had rebounded incorrectly. Or not mouse 3, so like I have the 2 extra buttons on the side of my mouse. I can't lift it all the way up here, but the top one I usually do the shouts because I want to make sure I'm not doing the shouts on accident.
yeah.
And then the one that's right under my thumb I keep as like ready weapon, put away weapon. Well, I had inverted those, and I wanted to ready my weapon, and then I threw a bunch of people across the room.
Whoops.
I was like, oh,
That's
good
one
thing I
way to
just
start
loaded.
a bar fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not good. I'm only level 5. I can't start any bar fights
man.
yet. I think that's another thing I'm going to do this run, is just like occasionally just go on a rampage.
Occasionally just kill every human inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just
go
as
away and
many as
mix
I
it
can.
up.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing this week.
I've got a really light load here too. I've been playing a little bit of Hearthstone here and there as I've been able to.
Nice.
Been trying to go through. They give you a whole bunch of quests. Whenever you clear out quests in your quest log, they give you more. Been trying to do that. Been trying to play. I've been playing a lot more ranked matches. I'm now silver ranked. There's
Working those sick levels.
Oh yeah, there's like 7 ranks, and I don't really know what they are. I'm just still having a bunch of fun. I think I spent probably like half an hour in the game yesterday, and I sort of knocked out 3 matches in a row. So
Wow.
I mean, each match is just so fast. I can just hop in there and kind of bang out a match or two, and kind of hop back out. So that's sort of what I've been using it for, as kind of in between other games, using it as a palate cleanser, or it's where I really want it on the iPad, is because I
Yeah.
use it. It's not.
It's pretty low impact.
Yeah, it's really low impact. So like I would see myself playing that in bed at the end of the day. Where like, I'll just play a couple casual matches, or I don't know, I'll play the arena, one match in the arena and see how far I can get, and then kind of go to bed. It's never like a first-person shooter where you're like, now I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, you're just trying to fall asleep when you're all amped up because
Yeah.
Excalibat's getting your brain.
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
So I've been playing a little bit more of that. I played a bunch of Diablo 3.
On the console. How was it?
360. It's it's sort of, so good and bad thing. It's still Diablo 3. So good thing is it's Diablo 3, 60 frames a second, looks super great. TVGP alumni Brad and I were talking. We've seen small occasions of minor screen tearing, but nothing where
Okay.
it's like, oh, skip this version. This looks like hot poop.
Yeah.
But the bad part is it's still Diablo 3, so I still want to kind of play it forever and always. The lack of auction house is really nice.
It's just the phrasing of that is great. It's like, oh, this feature they took out made the game way better.
Yeah, and same with it being offline. Also,
Yeah.
sort of really great. It looks like they have the improved loot system in here that they're going to be putting on the PC version soon.
Okay.
I played for probably about, I think it was like 6-7 hours, something like that, and I got through the first act.
Okay.
And I already have 3 legendaries.
Ooh,
Only
wow.
one of them was applicable for my class, but I still had, a bunch of them, and I think I had like 1 yellow item that I picked up. So drop rates they changed drop rates in general, so less stuff drops, but the stuff that does drop is much more important. So,
Oh, okay.
if you run into, like one of those yellow mobs,
Yeah.
if you kill the whole group of them, there's might only be like 3 things that drop now, but probably 2 of them are going to be blue, and they're both going to be for your class. So they may not be totally applicable for your character right now, but you're getting loot that really matters instead of like continually picking up axes as a demon hunter. You're just like, what do I can't even hold these. Look at these
That
arms.
reminds me of like looting stuff in World of Warcraft in the like older days, where it's like there is nothing for hunters, and the usual case was, well, my warrior needs that bow to pull.
As a hunter, that was always like, oh look, another priest robe. Good, great.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
I'm sitting here wearing grays, and everyone's out in fat perps, and I'm just sort of like, well, you aren't pulling your DPS. And it's like, well, yes, I know, because the warrior has my bow.
I'm not pulling my DPS because my pet's off tanking. I'm trying to keep him up. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I am also setting traps to take care of the ads. You're welcome.
Fun stuff. And it seems like, I know Blizzard, when they were promoting Diablo 3 on consoles, was saying, the mob count was decreased. Actually seems like it's increased. There are a lot of mobs in that game. I turned the corner when I was playing yesterday, and there was a room shoulder to shoulder packed with mobs.
Wow.
And I never saw that in the PC version. So making it considerably more difficult in a fun, challenging way, instead of being like, walking into a room and seeing 3 mobs and being like, all right, floop, 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 floop. All right, they're dead.
Yeah.
Whatever, keep moving on. I really, really like the inventory management system. When you pull up, you hit the back button. I'm playing on 360. You hit the back button, and your character has a wheel around him, and for each point on the wheel is a category of loot. So like straight up is your helmet, straight down are your pants, side to side are your weapons, straight down are your pants, baby. I give up on this show. But what's really great is when you pick that category, you see only the equipment in that category. So you're not like looking at your full armor and scrolling through on this D-pad to see all this other stuff. Comparing equipment's really easy.
Oh, thank God.
Equipping your followers is really easy.
Nice.
The only thing they made harder in the game is going through challenges. I really liked on the PC version you could pick a category and then pick an act, or like pick another category underneath that. It's only the high-level categories. So, sort of a bummer, because there's achievements tied to challenges. So there are some where it's like, oh, you get this achievement for clearing out all the conversation challenges in the game. Or you get this achievement for clearing out all the challenges for this boss. Which is kind of cool, because there'd be 3 achievements for each boss. Beat them on normal, beat them on Inferno, and then complete all the challenges. So it's kind of...
Nice.
There's a reason to go through the challenges. And it looks like a lot of that stuff, like the PC version, carries across multiple characters.
Awesome.
So it all seems to have the same thing. Pro tip for everyone: I haven't yet played it in couch co-op, but there's a feature in there that they never explain that makes it a lot easier for couch co-op. When you pick up items or equipment, you see the little description of the item above your character portrait.
Okay.
And it has 3 categories that show, green arrows for this is better than what you have, or red arrows for that's not as good as what you have. And if you hit the up arrow on the D-pad, you can cycle through the last 3 or 4 things you've picked up and equip it right from there, or drop it right from there. If you accidentally picked up some gray thing that you're not going to do anything with, or you picked up a legendary and it's a couple people playing couch co-op and you don't want to go into the menu and equip this thing, compare, you can just hit up, cycle through it, equip that thing, and then just keep on going without having to pause the game. So that's super cool. I don't know why they didn't ever explain that, but I stumbled upon it accidentally, so passing the love on to you peeps. It's just really great. It's Diablo 3 on consoles. It runs smooth as hell, 60 frames, has the whole content, has hop in and hop out multiplayer with your all your friends list and everything. It's great.
It almost
Nice.
sounds like exactly what we wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might need to pick this up.
Yeah, it's super. And the first print run of the game comes with a code to redeem for the helmet that gives you 25% increased experience. So how can you go wrong?
Man,
So-
you shouldn't have told. Oh God,
Curses.
Well, Hannah, looks like we're
Anybody-
teaming up.
Yep.
man, I gotta find some place that's gonna buy my plasma. Hold on.
There you go. And the
other
only last game, yeah. The last game that I played this week is I finished Saints Row 4.
Ooh. Oh, what'd you think?
So, for anyone out there, don't beat the game until you've done everything for all of your followers, for all of your homies.
Okay.
The secret ending you get at the end of that game is so important / hilarious that you absolutely need to finish it after you do all the homie things.
Nice.
Wait, what's the secret ending?
Well, I'm not gonna... Well, let me talk about the secret ending on this. It's not... It's the one after the credits. So there's an ending,
Oh.
there's the credits, and then there's like a short, like 30-second thing after
Okay,
the
all right, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought you were
Cool.
talking about the DP.
No.
Ahem.
No, it's not what you... It's not that. It is not what you think, people.
Okay.
So yeah, it's super critical that you do it because it's pretty good. The ending credits were great. I really like. This is absolutely not a spoiler, but I really like it when ending credits both thank the player, which it did line one, and shows pictures of all of the developers. I
Yes.
really like that, and when it has some sick music, which. By the way, if anyone wants to go buy that CD for that dubstep song, it's the Terrible Beetroots, their new album that comes out this week, which I might have already pre-ordered because it is one of the sickest songs I've heard in a really long time.
Nice.
Holy crap.
Yeah. That whole game top to finish. Now, for you, after finishing it, how do they go bigger?
That would be a spoiler. I think it's pretty easy based on what happened in the ending. I think you explore what happened in the ending.
Yeah.
And go through the steps on that.
Nice.
I don't know if they go bigger or if they go to something else. I almost feel like they should sort of take a break for a little bit and kind of let the quadrilogy of these games kind of sit for a little bit and let people catch up, because if anybody hasn't played Saints Row 3 and 4, you should do that, and don't just go to 4.
Yeah.
You really, really need to play 3 first.
Nice.
I think the things that happen in 3 play so heavily in 4 that it would make that, not that that game wouldn't be enjoyable on a standalone basis, but 3 was just so good.
Well, and I think you can skip 1 and 2 because the things they bring into that game from both of the first games, you don't really need to know. Like, you don't need to know who Veteran Child is.
Yeah.
You just know that he was in one of the previous games, and that's
Yeah.
kind of good enough.
Yeah.
I really have to say that game, I think just like Saints Row 3, I was kind of really sick of that game by the time I was wrapping it up. But then I got to the ending and I was like, alright, you won me over, you rogue.
Yeah.
You're just so good.
I felt the same way, especially in that last arena you got to go through, where
Yeah.
you're really exploiting everything that you had to learn in that game.
Yeah, I was just sort of like, even at that point, I was like, yeah, this is really cool, but I kind of just want to be done with it. And then by the ending, I was like, all right, a really good game.
I loved
Yeah.
the little pictures scrolling at the end of that game too. It was probably one of my favorite parts.
Yeah. I really have to give them a lot of credit for the audio logs. I did not think... Volition really takes their characters seriously.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that their characters are serious, but it means that those audio logs actually really filled in a lot of backstory for each and every one of the characters that was actually really interesting. And I was going to go get all the audio logs for the achievement just because I I was getting all of the clusters at the same time anyway, so why not?
Nice.
But they're actually really interesting, and they add quite a bit to each one of the characters. It was kind of surprising.
Cool.
Yeah, it's an angle I didn't expect to see coming. I thought audio logs is kind of a throwaway collectible,
Yeah,
but
just gonna be more
they
dumb jokes.
You know
Yeah.
what?
Which would have been okay.
Yeah.
Especially the stuff with KD, man, it was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just so much good stuff in that game, and all of the homie loyalty missions were really great. A lot of the side mini games were really great. Some of them I thought weren't super great. A lot of the Rift ones I thought were kind of lame. I really wish they were all that racing one, that kind of Battletoads style
Yeah.
racing
Oh,
one.
no.
Because I thought that one was genuinely challenging in a really fun way. I thought the other ones were challenging in a way that made me want to shoot myself in the face. They weren't hard. I just thought they were too long.
I thought the platform one was way too easy.
Yeah. Especially
and-
once you're really upgraded, it's not even really a challenge.
And the telekinesis one was probably the most infuriating one out of all of them.
Just way too long for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of the game is really great. I almost 100%ed that game. I'm at like 95% because it counts.
Good Lord.
It counts your gold medals and challenges, and I have a couple that I don't have gold medals, and I'm never going to go back to do, like Mind Over Murder. Never want to do those again. They were really fun, but I can tell that when I go to gold medal those things, it will be a controller biting situation.
Not that hard. The
Okay.
hardest ones were the Superpower Fight Club.
Oh, I hate those things so much.
Those were by far the worst. Those are the ones that took more than one other try.
I'm sure by the time you get to the end and you have all your powers and they're all upgraded to 100%, it'd be a little bit easier, but still
No,
sort of
that was not hard.
infuriatingly
Ugh.
too challenging in a really dumb way.
Yeah.
The game, I feel like the game would have been better without those sequences. They just
Cool.
they didn't really. The problem was they didn't really serve a purpose, and they weren't nearly as fun as all the other ones. I would have
Yeah,
rather
it's-
like one more of each one of the other ones than those ones.
Oh yeah, I would have substituted for another loyalty mission that was varied like all the other ones.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I just game's superb. I mean, just there's very little wrong with it, if anything. The humor is spot on. The variation in it, a lot of which is complete spoilers. But the different environments you're continually going into, especially for when you're rescuing your homies, is just
yeah,
the amount of stuff that they crammed into that game is just. I mean, we're continually making the comparison between Crackdown 1 and 2 and then Saints Row 3 and 4 as sort of saying Crackdown 1 and 2 not enough, and then when you look at Saints Row 3 and then Saints Row 4, it's in the same environment, but what's really great is they took the time they saved by putting in Steelport again and put that into everything else in the game, and just everything else you're running into is just so different and varied and unexpected, and a lot of it is just sort of like, how did you guys do this? Like, how much time did it spend to make this stupid segment that's maybe 20 minutes long that's totally different from the rest of the game? I mean, like, how did it take like 15 people 3 months to make this 20-minute segment? Because I don't understand how you do this in this engine. You know, and it's constantly that stuff back to back in this game.
that's the one thing it just blew me away, because there's so much of that game is so familiar from the environment in 3, but they managed to make everything feel so much more fresh
Yeah.
in 4 with the almost same assets.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the inside places were just like, holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember all this stuff like going into the 3-count casino.
Yeah. When I went back in there for somebody's loyalty mission, I think it was just sort of like, all right, I remember this. Oh, but now it's totally different and throwing
And there's
something
zombies.
really different at you. Yeah. So I mean, it's
Okay.
just the game is legitimately really great in a way that I think we don't get a lot of games where. The best part about it is the best part about 3 and 4 is that it's really dumb, and it knows it's really dumb, and just soaks in it. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
simmering
Goes
in the
for it.
stupidity. Yeah, I just like, even to the end, your main character is an uncontrollable, stupid psychopath that will stop at nothing to do the dumbest things.
Yep.
And it's just, it's amazing. I can't recommend it enough.
But there was one loyalty mission that was heads and shoulder above anything I ever expected.
Which one was, whose loyalty mission?
I can't say if it's a spoiler.
Oh, was it one of the last ones?
Yes.
Yeah, there was one.
It was something of rage.
Yes, that's specifically the one I was thinking of. I was thinking the KD loyalty mission where you save him at the end.
Yeah.
Where another character shows up, voicing themselves. Which is just sort of like, okay, this, like, just
Yeah.
at every turn when something new shows up, and I was like, this is the dumbest thing on the face of the earth, and I can't help but love it.
But that's the funny thing with that game is, we loved it so much, and yet all this stuff almost is everything we're talking about is borderline spoilers for a game that's so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, we
But,
don't want to ruin that joke for anybody.
That's the thing. Like, the jokes. It's one of those games where the jokes are so good, and every time you run into this thing, like the loyalty mission for the thing that Knobs is talking about, where you get into it and you're like, ah, awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or like you run into a character and you're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Or there's some big moment and they play a song and you're just like, ah, this is so dumb. I just grinning from ear to ear. And like that,
Nice.
the loyalty mission that Knobs is talking about is the one where I don't know how they did it in that engine. Like
It blew my mind.
It's one of those.
Absolutely blew my mind.
It's one of those things where you get into it and you're like, this is pretty funny. Oh, I'm doing this. Oh, this is actually okay. This, neat. That's kind of cool.
It's not just that. Not just they didn't just nail the look. They nailed the play mechanic,
The sound.
the sound,
go.
the voices.
Yeah, just
No! It's just-
everything. I mean, and that's what I respect Volition for. They're making a really dumb game incredibly well. A lot of people could go and make this dumb game and make it like a campy B movie. Basically make Troll 2 the video game.
Yeah.
But they're making like the Shaun of the Dead of video games. Where it's like
Nice.
it's dumb
That's
and
the
it's
best analogy.
and it's really
Yeah.
fun, but it's also really good and a little scary. And I can really respect that. And
Nice.
that's why I love Volition. I feel like they missed the mark with Saints Row 1 and 2, but with 3 and 4, they just went for it and made a really great game. And I think at the end of the day, I have to respect it. Even if I didn't agree with the game, I think I would still respect it on that level.
Nice.
And I can't. I mean, that's going to be another game that's easily in my top 3 this year. Everyone has to go play it. If you have a PC that can play it on PC. Don't play it on consoles.
Cool.
It's buttery smooth on PC. So,
Cool.
and that's all I've been playing. So let's take a break.
Cool.
Sweet.
Break.
Chat is just so broken today.
Oh, I just got welcome to it actually.
Oh,
It's working, I guess. I don't
question
know.
mark? Well, thank you for
Yeah.
everyone that's watching the live stream. Either way,
Yeah.
even
Hey,
if you can't chat with us.
For sure.
And if you are watching the live stream, please email or tweet us because we still need some of those.
Yep.
I like seeing everyone's usernames on Twitch. I get an email every time someone follows us.
Oh,
Our new
nice.
follower is Euro Chuck Norris. Thank you, sir or madam. That
That's pretty
just
wonderful.
made my day.
Yeah.
Okay. Show notes. We had a lot of news stories today.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot going on. Surprisingly.
And only 2 releases because everyone is getting out of the way for one of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's almost nothing releasing on XBLA or PSN this week either.
Yeah.
Everyone is getting out of the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why would you get... You don't get in the way of a GTA release.
No.
Just
I mean,
not.
you're asking your game to fail.
Yeah.
Even if it's in a totally different genre. Like, no one's even releasing a JRPG this week. And there's nothing. There's just nothing.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, man. I just want to take a nap.
Yeah. I just want to go watch Archer.
Yeah. But I have to do all this editing. Half of the reason these shows get messed up, too, is because of Skype.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Skype is just not great.
Not the
It
cat's
works.
pajamas.
Yeah. It works, and that's about as much as you can ask it to be.
Yep.
Let's see.
Let's see if there's any more news stories here. Probably not.
Yeah. So a bunch of dudes I work with just started playing Brutal Legend because it was up on the Humble Bundle.
Yeah.
And one of them was doing a little research before. He's like, I've never heard of this, and he loads up the. Have you seen the Wikipedia page for that game?
No. Let me fire it up.
Let me link it. It's insane.
Brutal Legend. Holy Christmas.
Yeah.
This thing is huge.
It is well researched too.
Yeah.
I spent literally like a half hour of my lunch break that day reading it.
Oh, well, half this page is the soundtrack, which is actually
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, so you can find it. And every time I look at that soundtrack, I'm like, man, they did a really good job picking those songs.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, there's a couple of misses in here, but nothing major.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at it recently. I looked at it a little bit, but I didn't read the whole thing. Let's see, because I think some of the misses may be intentional, like, hey, this is pretty funny, right?
Yeah, or hey, this song is really dumb.
Yeah.
Wow, this page is so big.
I mean, they have, like, the whole section on development's ridiculous, too.
Yeah, I mean, just they even have a section for the canceled sequel, which I totally
right.
forgot about. I mean,
Yeah.
it's incredible seeing some of those wiki pages where it just someone that's like one person that just loves that game so much and can't help but explain everything about it on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Ooh. Oh man. Yeah, I'm glad you caught to that part because
Yeah.
that was just.
I
want to talk about it, but I want to spoil it for Hannah.
Well,
Yeah.
and the rest of the 10 people that are on the stream, too. But I really just needed to finish it because I could sort of feel myself pulling away from it and being like, I'll play that later. It's like, no, I have a couple hours right now. I'm just going to knock the rest of this game out. I've completed everything in the world.
Yeah,
I just need to finish the game.
I felt the same way. Like, all right, my hack's at 100% right now. Might as well do it.
Yeah. Yeah, just pull the trigger. They dump you back in the world at the end anyway, so...
Alright,
Alright, I'm ready to start the segment whenever you guys are.
Sounds
you
good.
guys ready?
Let's go. Yep.
Alright, ready in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We got releases. A lot of games coming out this week.
Oh, yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PlayStation 3 and 360.
I broke down and pre-ordered it, so I will have impressions next week. I hope it's good.
Yeah,
Me
I'm
too.
gonna have to wait because I still haven't double checked on if it's the game I think it is. If it is, I will buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the wonderful 101 for the Wii U.
And there's
That'll do it.
absolutely nothing else being released for any other platform because of GTA 5. So let's move into news stories. PS Vita 2000 was announced. It is 20% thinner and 15% lighter, which is kind of a bummer. Because I think that is kind of really good in my paws right now. So that's I'm a little bit disappointed that they went and changed that, but I kind of get it. I mean, you can't be like, it's the same thing. See you later.
Yeah.
They redesigned the select and start buttons, which is a godsend. They're no longer those tiny little chiclet things anymore. They're these bigger round buttons. So hopefully you can hit them with fingers now. Yay.
Yeah, instead of fingernails.
Yeah, jinx.
Yeah.
1 gig of built-in memory. So I think a lot of people are like, so what? I think that's actually really important for a lot of these indie games that are coming out. Because a lot of those games are relatively small.
Yeah.
So if you can load up, Retro City Rampage and Rogue Legacy without having to buy a memory card, great.
That's huge.
Now you can buy a Vita, and there are no problems. So I think that's a bigger deal than people are thinking. Has a micro USB connector on it instead of that proprietary piece of crap that's on the bottom. So yay!
I am angry about this because that's the only reason I would get it, and it's a bad reason, but it's a great reason.
It's a big enough reason.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi only, no more 3G, which, sure,
Who cares?
because you're not going to make an LTE Vita. So,
No.
Screen is now LED, not OLED like the original. Originally, I thought that was kind of a bummer until I follow a really great. If you guys aren't reading this, anyone listening, there's a handheld gaming blog called Tiny Cartridge. They only focus on 3DS and Vita. They don't do anything else. It's a really, really, really great blog, and they posted a picture of the 1000 sitting right on top of the 2000, and the screens look virtually identical. So I think Sony was coming out and saying, like, look, LED technology is to the point where we can get a screen that's just as good as an OLED screen for cheaper.
Yeah.
So the console can be cheaper and have the same screen. So, yeah, it's not OLED anymore, but it's just as good. Or if it's not as good, it's really, really close. So,
Nice.
passing the savings on to you. It's available in Japan October 10th. No release dates for other
No,
regions.
just says, hey, pay it forward, Sony.
Yeah, pay it forward, Sony. So I'm hoping that comes out. I'm sure it'll come out minimum $200 because that's the Vita price right now.
Yeah.
If they would like to kick the price down a little bit more, that would be great too.
That would be.
But an even bigger announcement that they announced at the same time as the PS Vita TV was announced. It's this super tiny little box, 6 centimeters by 10 centimeters.
Yeah.
So it's basically on the back of it. It's a USB port, a network port, HDMI, and then the other slot we'll talk about. Allows you to stream video services to your TV, blah blah blah, whatever. It has a PlayStation Vita card slot, which will let you plug Vita games into this thing and play Vita games natively on your TV without having to have a Vita.
Nice.
And you play with a DualShock 3 because the DualShock 3 connects to the PS Vita TV. And the only games that won't work on there are ones that need like the camera or the mic or the touch screen, stuff like that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Sony's saying that 100 Vita games work on that thing natively.
Nice.
In addition, you can also play PSP and PS1 games on it.
Okay.
So you want to play a whole bunch of PS1 games that they maybe don't have all the buttons for on the Vita or the PSP? Perfect. Now you got a cheap PS1 connected to your TV.
That can also play PSP games.
Yeah. And the thing that I didn't even think about until Musa mentioned it the other day while recording Pup, you can play PS4 games via your Vita on this thing. So
That's madness.
you can connect your PS4 to a Vita to this thing to play your PS4 in another room on a big TV.
Oh.
Which I just mind blown.
How do they keep building so much value into this thing? It's amazing.
So the best part is it's $100. It is half the price of a Vita. If you want a DS3 with it, it's $150. Coming out in Japan November 14th. No word for an international release, but don't be dumb. Bring it to everywhere else.
Yeah, right?
Because if you want to play
Oh.
PSP, PS1, and Vita games, and extend a PS4 somehow into another room for half of the price of a Vita, you
Yes.
instantly make the the Vita platform incredibly popular, and
Yeah.
you it has the PS Vita TV has full access to the PlayStation Store, so
Yeah.
downloadable Vita games, boom, around this super tiny little thing.
Nice.
So many people online were saying like, well, why did they make it so cheap? It's like, well, why not? You want
Because
people
they
to
want
play.
to sell it.
You want them to sell Vita games, especially now that they're making such a huge push for all these indie developers.
Yeah.
I just now it's a no-brainer to get on the Vita platform. It's $100.
Yes.
It feels like a response to things like the Ouya and like the unannounced Amazon Android console. It feels like they're trying to get in front of those things and being like, listen, those are cute and those are
Yeah.
nice.
Well, we got
This
a
is
Vita.
a real system.
Yeah, and you know and love the DualShock 3. Here
Yeah.
you go. You play video games with it.
Yeah.
What you've always wanted to do is play video games with the DualShock 3. You can do it.
Yeah.
It's $100.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
That just blows my mind. I
That's
mean,
an
yes.
incredibly intelligent decision from Sony, and
that's the future.
it's so different from Sony of even a year ago, that was promoting the Vita,
Yeah.
promoting the PS3, the PSP. I mean, I just they announced this, and my initial thing was like, well, this is sort of dumb. And I'm reading, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. I could play a bunch of PS1 games again.
Yep.
Play a bunch of really great PSP games. This is actually pretty snazzy.
Yep.
I like it. All right, moving on to the next news story. Theater Rhythm Curtain Call announced. Normally I wouldn't talk about this on the show because who cares about it other than me. But over 200 songs included with DLC planned. Level up your party with items, blah, blah, blah. The part that I wanted to talk about is Knobs and I have a lot of very fond memories in college of playing Amplitude Versus, where you get to mess with each other on tracks.
Yeah.
They basically have that in Theater Rhythm now. So it's one versus one, where you're trying to beat the other person's score and somehow mess with their track. That's amazing. More
Okay.
rhythm games need to do that.
Slow-mo.
Slow-mo. That's something that I wouldn't really expect out of Square, but I think that could be a pretty cool thing for that game if you can find someone else with a copy of that game.
Yeah. Is that coming for just 3DS, or is that going to come to Vita as well?
I'm assuming 3DS. They also put the previous one on iPhone and Android, since it has a touch screen. Surprised it never came out on the Vita. I don't really know why, but maybe. I don't think they've really announced platforms, but
Cool.
fingers crossed.
Let's go.
Gigabyte announces a new tiny gaming PC called a Brix, BRIX. Wait until we're done with the news story to get excited about it. It's a 4.5-inch cube built for gaming. They show it sitting next to a 360 controller, plugged in the front of it. Looks about the same size. Sounds good. Engadget tried out Grid 2 in 1080p and said it ran well, so good. No final price or release date, but they expect it to cost about $500. Seems reasonable. Unfortunately, you have to provide your own RAM, hard drive, and OS.
What?
Oh. Yeah, so it's really like $800.
Yeah. That, if you got them laying around, that sounds like a pretty good deal. If you don't, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Gigabyte. That's
It's halfway there. It's halfway.
It's halfway.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, you're really close, but just really.
Tell you what, you sell me that for $200, we got a deal.
Yeah, and then you can put like $300 worth of stuff in there. Put a sick SSD in there. Put a bunch of RAM. Put some OS on there.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. It just. I was super excited about it, and then it wasn't it.
Yeah, because I kept seeing pictures of it on all the Kotaku and Gizmodo, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cute. And then I saw Burrito, I was like, oh, dude.
Just every point, you're just sort of like, well, this is, well, come on, Gigabyte.
He's on the 1 yard line and fumbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Next news story here, Valve announces family sharing. You can share your Steam catalog with up to 10 other people. Holy crap.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of peeps.
Yeah.
There's sort of two caveats. Both are understandable. Only one person can play a game at a time, so if you share it with 5 people, all 5 people can't play that one game at the same time. That seems fair. And if you are the one that purchased the game, you can kick off another person that's playing it right now from if you want to play that game at the moment. And I think if I remember correctly, it gives them like 2 minutes to save and quit or purchase the game, and then it'll kick them off. But like, I'm sure most people aren't going to be like, "Hey, I'm going to play your copy of Saints Row 4. Hey, why'd you get out of there? I wanted to keep playing that." It's like, no, I spent the money on that, so get out.
Yeah.
The other thing too is not all games are applicable to it. It looks like games that use Uplay and Games for Windows Live are not part of this program. So thankfully, that's a pretty small catalog. But it's not 100% of Steam games. But who cares?
Yeah.
You're still going to play free games from your friends anyway, so
Sure.
whatever. Beta applications are open now. Go join the family sharing Steam group to apply for the beta.
All right.
So, super pumped. Hope I get in that. That sounds pretty neat.
That sounds awesome.
Next news story: new Guilty Gear game coming to PS3 and PS4 in Japan next year. There has been no 360 or Xbox One announcements. Just like BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma is not coming out to 360. So, not sure why that's happening with Arc System Works, but they released another trailer for it, and holy crap. Sick, nasty.
I'll have to watch that.
I haven't been. Oh my gosh.
It's so good. What's surprising is it's everything that you wanted the next generation of your favorite fighting game to be. Because looking at the bullet points, new characters, 3D engine, all this new stuff, online, all this, and you're just sort of like, that's not anything. Oh god, that trailer. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Redesigned characters. I don't like that. Oh my god, everyone looks great. Except they didn't shade Ino, which is perfect.
Yeah, I know. It's even better.
Oh god.
But it's just watching those things hit like on the overdrives and stuff. It just like does that just little quick turn,
like a quick camera turn. Yeah.
Nice.
Just to show the impact.
It's so good.
Oof.
So cannot wait. If I can pre-order it now for my PS4, I will happily do so. And the last news story is a bit of a weird one. Apparently G4 isn't dead anymore. The Hollywood Reporter reports G4 is expected to remain as is for the foreseeable future, though it's highly unlikely the company will invest in more original programming. Stosky, who apparently is the head of the channel, will remain in charge of the network as well as Esquire, which will remain his primary focus with regard to time, energy, and resources.
Okay.
NBC will rebrand the Style channel as an Esquire network instead, which makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that makes a ton more sense.
Yeah. So, the weird thing is, we're going to keep G4 around, but we fired all the talent, we canceled all the shows. I guess we have a lot of cops still?
Yeah, right?
Yes. I don't know why they would do. It seems a little confusing for all parties involved.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But that's all our news stories. Let's take another break.
All right.
Sick nasty is an understatement for that trailer.
Oh my god, this is awesome.
It's the hot, nasty blast.
That's
so
madness.
That's fantastic.
I can't wait to play it. I can't wait. It's only PS4?
PS3 and PS4.
Yeah.
Fuck shit!
Hey, you got one of those.
That would buy me... that would sell me that system. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad I already have a PS4 pre-order, so I don't have to for that game. Good times. Alright,
Oh, I know, Boomer. I haven't seen you in 3 days.
Okay, you guys ready for the last segment here?
Yeah, Boomer is.
Yeah, for real. He just wants a lot of sniffs.
Yeah.
Claw in my throat. It fucking hurt.
Samson's getting pretty worked up over there.
Kerfuffle. Oh.
Oh, my giblets! My squiddly spooch. All right. Jeez.
My jugular.
Have you recovered? All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about tweets.
Tweet.
Tweet.
Adderblack39 writes in, "Hey guys, hi there.
Hi.
I've been going gaming cold turkey for a fortnight for GTA 5, which I think is 2 weeks.
Yep.
Okay. Whew. Got shakes big time. Have any of you guys done the same thing? F no.
Nope.
Not intentionally.
Why? What is going on? Didn't you ever
Oh.
see the Friends episode where Joey was trying to not eat for the entire day because it was Thanksgiving? That turned out wrong.
Actually, I have to retract that. I did it for Skyrim.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if it was entirely intentional, but at least partially I was like, no, I'm gonna wait for Skyrim until I play something. I think it was maybe a week, but
I'm waiting for marriage.
I think the only thing that held me back from playing games was my thumb injury.
Yeah.
That was, I think it was 3 to 4 weeks I couldn't play a thing.
Just a hot month.
Yeah, and even by then, like, even coming back to college after that with my thumb all jacked up, and we were still, like, heavily into Guilty Gear, and the amount of pain I was in every time I touched a controller was excruciating.
wow.
But you did it for Guilty Gear.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Of course. Duh.
Yes, sir.
Let's go into emails here. Dave,
Emails.
aka RoboPig, writes back in. We missed you, buddy. Hey guys, I just started a second reading of Ready Player One, which is such a good book. And I thought something in it would make a good question. In describing the parking lot of the virtual high school he attends, the main character notes it was full of all manner of fictional vehicles, which is a really, really great scene.
Nice.
So the question is, when our lives turn to virtual reality, what would be your ride of choice? Could be anything from a game, movie, book, TV show, etc. In describing the parking lot in the book, it's mainly spacecraft, since it's assumed you will need to travel between worlds. Might be my nostalgia from reading that book, but I think I might want the Viper from the original Battlestar Galactica series. I feel like it's too much of an easy choice to say the Millennium Falcon, because I feel like that parking lot would be full of like 800 of those.
Yeah.
Um,
Real big parking lot.
I just watched Star Trek Into Darkness, like one of those redesigned Klingon ships. So
Oh, it
yeah.
actually has the flappy wings.
those
for the
things look
warriors.
sick!
Yeah. Ooh.
Man, I think for everyday travel, I mean, just let's say we're still planted on Earth. I need to roll around an Ecto 1.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
For time travel, it has to be DeLorean, even though that's an easy one.
The Mr. Fusion
I mean,
model.
there's no other one.
Space to space, either the Bebop
Oh, that's a good one.
or Jet's Hammerhead.
Ooh.
I think those two
Good
are, I
choice.
think, probably my favorites.
I'd rock around in the Bebop.
Yeah, I mean, the Bebop is a boat, too. I can go
That's
fishing.
true.
Yeah. Oh man. I would have to say. There's too many. Like I would honestly, I would probably pick one of the cars from Demolition Man because that's got the best safety feature in the world,
Oh,
just for day-to-day travel,
True.
just so I could do whatever I wanted, and then styrofoam.
One of those cop cars from the Super
know what,
Mario
but-
movie.
or the cool ball tires from the iRobot movie.